Hello friends, this is Worm, and we're back with another episode of the Fix It Miniseries, a series where we talk about every sub-archetype of weapon in Destiny 2, and how we can make them either better or bring them back a little bit so they're more in line with each other without removing them from their intended niche. And today, we're going to talk about grenade launchers, and grenade launchers, in my opinion, are probably going to be one of the toughest categories to cover because grenade launchers have a ton of different sub-archetypes, and not only that, but they're in multiple different categories. You got heavy ammo grenade launchers, you got special ammo grenade launchers, so we're just going to cover all the special ammo grenade launchers in this video, and then we'll see about next time if we're going to break the heavy grenade launchers up into different categories. But with that being said, special ammo grenade launchers, these are things such as the wave frame, lightweight frame, the area denial frame, and the micro missile frame, which is both of those latter two are really niche. There's only one of each, but they are legendary, and I potentially see Bungie adding some more of them in the future. So with that being said, I want to talk about probably the weakest in this category, which I would say is the lightweight frame grenade launchers. Lightweight frames, they really feel like the only reason to use them is if they have disorienting grenades. Like, I know for me personally, I never ever put on a special ammo grenade launcher, a lightweight frame grenade launcher without disorienting grenades, because they have that utility behind them. I mean, Bungie, honestly, you might as well make disorienting grenades be like stock on all lightweight frames, right? Because like that's literally the only reason I see people using them. And there's a couple reasons for this. Number one, they're not crazy on DPS. They have a very slow rate of fire. They don't deal a massive ton of damage. They don't have ad clear potential like, I don't know, a wave frame or something does. And they don't have that utility that, area of denial or that rocket-like speed of mountaintop, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to lightweight frames, the only thing they have really going for them is disorienting grenades. And I think that is something that's, just a second ago we joked about having Bungie add disorienting grenades on all lightweight frames. That is, I don't necessarily know if that's the best option, but that literally just changes the frame from lightweight frame to a disorienting frame or something like that, right? Because they aren't used for anything else. Now, I know there's different arguments because, disorienting grenades kills your blast radius and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, it's a special ammo grenade launcher. Its blast radius isn't, like, it's not crazy by any means. And even if it was, like, I would rather prefer to use a wave frame if I'm going to do any type of ad clear. So when it comes to lightweights, I think the main change that we should actually make to lightweights, they need to have their damage increased by a pretty substantial margin. Again, they aren't like heavy grenade launchers, okay? They don't, come out of that grenade launcher tube, 5 grenades at a time at 120 rounds per minute or anything like that. Like, they're very slow. I think lightweights have 90. I think their RPM is 90, which is very slow. So it's not like you could use it for DPS. And of course, wave frames just do the ad clear thing better. I mean, really, I can't think of a situation where a lightweight frame would be better off at ad clear than a than a wave frame. Sorry. But with that being said, I think that increasing the damage, and especially increasing the damage against higher health targets, things like majors, mini bosses, and champions, stuff like that, I think that's kind of the niche that they have. Like, they are a grenade launcher that you can put on. It shoots an explosive grenade. It's not like a wave that goes across ground. It is an explosive projectile. And I think that if Bungie increased that damage to those higher health targets, you would see it being used a lot more. Okay, and I'm thinking, like, maybe, I don't want to go overboard on this, but maybe you start with like a 30% damage buff to those specific types of enemies. Because again, I don't think there's a problem killing like red bar enemies, but at the same time, lightweight grenade launchers, they're more of a, it's more of a one and done, like more of a damage, high health target damage, right? The wave frame is the one designated for ad clear. So I think that just increasing their damage so that it deals more damage against champions is probably the way to go. And outside of that, I wouldn't change anything else. I think their reload, and this is going to be the same across all special ammo grenade launchers. I think the reload's fine. I mean, it is a grenade launcher in the special ammo category, so it does have to have some type of trade-off, you know, and I think not having a magazine, but rather like a tube where you can only hold one grenade launcher or one grenade at a time, unless you have specific perks and stuff, of course, is probably the way to go. But I think that increasing the lightweight frames damage is really about all it would need. Now, moving on, I want to talk about the wave frame, because wave frame is a beloved archetype. Like, I love Forbearance, I love Martyr's Retribution, which is unsunset, but back in the day I loved that. I love what is it, Tusk of the Boar. Like, these are all tremendous options and they have great ad clearing potential. Unfortunately, I don't really think that there's anything, or I shouldn't say unfortunately, I should say fortunately, I don't think that there's anything this archetype needs. Okay, like Bungie recently have, you know, they reduced the actual range of that wave, which I think is completely fine. They changed the blast radius, so that blast radius now actually determines how wide that, you know, that wave is. And I really think that change, like wave frames feel like they're right where they need to be. You know, in terms of ad clear, they are the best grenade launcher for ad clear. Not only are they the best grenade launcher, but I would go as far to say they're the best special ammo, legendary special ammo, you know, archetype of weapon to do ad clear. They do a great job at it. They're not good at boss damage though, but they don't need to be good at boss damage because they're good at ad clear, and it's not a heavy, you know. So I think that wave frames really are pretty much fine where they are. I don't think I'd change too much on wave frames. I mean, maybe if you wanted to go out there and make an argument, I would say reduce that wave a little bit more and just give it a little bit more girth, you know, how wide that actual wave is. Sorry, that'd be the only change I'd make, but really I think wave frames are pretty fine where they are. Moving on though, I want to talk about the micro missile frame, and this is specifically mountaintop. I don't know if Bungie is going to make another mountaintop. I don't know if Bungie is going to add another weapon with that micro missile frame. Mountaintop has always been an incredibly unique weapon. Back when it was added, way back in season 7, I think is when it was added. Season 7, season 8, somewhere in that time frame. Like, it was unique back then. It's been unique throughout all these years. It came back with a, you know, a renewed version. It's still the same. I don't know if Bungie's really going to change that at all. And actually, the one change I was going to suggest Bungie has already done, and that is reducing the amount of like speed that you get for shooting grenades. Because one of the things that I find myself doing somehow pretty frequently, and when I say pretty frequently, I don't mean every single time I use Mountaintop, but one thing I'll end up doing is launching myself back way further than I expect to. And it's kind of frustrating because, okay, it just took me a little bit out of combat, now I got to move back up there, blah blah blah. And they recently changed that, so really I don't have any bones to pick with Mountaintop. I think the damage is also really good. Like, I've got an auto-loading recombination roll that is really good at killing champions, like very good at killing champions. That to me is kind of what it feels like lightweights need to be. Again, I think that Mountaintop is such a unique weapon archetype that it doesn't need any changes. Like, it fills a role, it does that role well, and that's really where we should leave it. But moving on, of course, to the last sub-archetype of special ammo grenade launcher, that is the area denial frame. And this is the newest one. This is the one it's really weird because it's new, but I think, again, as time goes on, we'll see more and more of these added into the game. But the way this grenade launcher works is when you shoot the grenade, it shoots 5 different projectiles that leave a damaging pool on the ground for about 5 seconds, roughly. This is, it's really weird how it works, because it's like a wither horde, but it's a legendary wither horde. It's not nearly as good, and you can spread that like pool of damage out a little bit more than you can with wither horde. It doesn't deal as much damage as wither horde, but it's just a really odd frame. I've been playing with it a lot recently just to kind of get a feel for it, and I'm still trying to find its niche. Like, I know it's area denial, you know, you can put it in a doorway, for example, if you know enemies are going to be coming through the doorway, but they still run through it. High health targets don't take enough damage to die, but they're weakened. Smaller ads like Thrall and stuff will typically die by it. I don't really feel like we've had enough time to really get a feel for what this grenade launcher is supposed to do. And maybe that's part of the problem, is because it's been out for a couple months now, right? 2 months, two or so months. what is it? Yeah, 2-3 months, somewhere in that, somewhere close to that area. Anyways, it's been out for that long, and it doesn't really feel like it has a niche just yet. And you can tell me if it does have a niche. Tell me in the comments what it is, because like I said, like, you can put it in a doorway, and that's about all you can really do with it. But in terms of changes, I would suggest to give it more of a niche, with it being an area of denial frame. I think that starting off, like, having having the ability to keep the little micro projectiles that you shoot with each grenade launcher more consistently, like in a specific area. Like one of the issues, like if you shoot it and you kind of strafe your mouse or your controller stick across the screen, it's difficult to track where those little pools are going to go. And those pools are so small that, like, you know, if you space them out too far, it's not going to do any good for you, because the pools that they actually leave behind are really, really small. So I think that instead of, you know, having it where it works the way it works currently, I would say shoot those 5 projectiles out a little bit faster. Okay, right now it's like, if I'm not mistaken, like from what I was playing with, that's about what it is. I would say get them out faster. Do like a burst almost as fast as maybe something like Vigilance Wing. Right, it's 5 little grenades that come out of it. Have it shoot out as fast as Vigilance Wing shoots one of its 5-round bursts. That way, it's easier to keep those bunch of little grenades together. Also, another change I would make if you want to go a step further is have it so that bosses can take damage from all of the pools at once. Because I noticed that it seems like the boss, like if you shoot a boss, for example, with all 5 of the little projectiles, the boss doesn't take 5 times damage. Like the boss only takes the damage of 1 puddle. It's similar to like what are they called, solar grenades. You know, a boss can only be burned by 1 solar grenade at a time. Same principle with this. I'm not saying that we need to just lift that completely. I think that having, you know, 1 grenade, 5 sub munitions should deal like the most amount of damage, and then as you have less sub munitions hit a boss, then it deals less damage. But I also don't believe that we should be able to stack like 5 or 6 lost signals up against the witness and absolutely shred his health bar from, you know, 1 grenade from each person. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I think, again, the main special ammo grenade launcher that needs help is the lightweight frame, and, you know, just increasing his damage against higher health targets is the way to go. But with that being said, that's kind of it for grenade launchers. Just tell me your thoughts and stuff on them. Like, help me figure out the niche for lost signal, because like I said, outside of putting it in a doorway, I can't figure out what the heck it's really supposed to be used for. So help me figure that out in the comments. Like the video, helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, conversations, stuff like that. And do me a favor, watch the videos you see here on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you'll like them. Guys, I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.